She wants to be your mayor. It's our pleasure to welcome former federal tourism minister, and when I say former, I mean like days ago, former federal tourism minister, Soraya Martinez Ferrada. She's officially announced her candidacy for the leadership of Ensemble Montreal, and of course, whoever leads Ensemble will be a mayoral candidate in the municipal election come this November. We've already decided we're on a first name basis. Soraya, welcome to our studios. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you so much for having me this morning.
First things first, you had a job.
I did.
You're leaving a job and you're going to try and run to lead a party. Mm-hmm. Nothing is certain in life. And I imagine a race against, you're going to have some other people to run against.
Probably.
Why take this risk?
Because I'm a Montrealer at heart. This is the city that I got to when I was 8 years old. I'm an immigrant. I'm a refugee with my mother. And this is my city. It's always been my city. And I decided that I wanted to choose Montreal over anything else. I've always served. I've always been find a way to be useful to my community. And I did that as a minister. I did that as an MP. I'm still an MP, actually.
Yep.
But now I decided that the next thing for me is giving back to my city.
So I want to touch on that a little bit because you were federal tourism minister and you were also the Liberal campaign co-chair.
Yes.
This is, time in life, timing is everything. This is a tough time for the Liberal Party, right? They're in some flux. I've heard the murmurs on social media. Some people are not happy that you've chosen this moment to leave the Liberal Party. What about that? What do you say to people who say, hey, wait a minute, you can't abandon your party when you're the campaign co-chair at a time like this?
Well, I'm not abandoning the party. Party, if you look at the polls, it's going pretty well. We have a lot of support on the ground that's coming back. We feel it. A lot of candidates have raised their hands saying, how can I help? And this is how I'm going to help being candidate. Yep. So the party is in really good hands. I've done that for the past year and a half. We're in a good position to campaign. The party has done a lot of fundraising. It's going well. So I'm not leaving the ship. I'm leaving a ship that's going well. But I'm choosing a city that I love and a city that I think needs a lot of things.
Yeah, and just one other thing on your previous party, the Liberal Party of Canada, because it's not lost on me. Pablo Rodriguez running for the leadership of the Quebec Liberal Party. You're running to be mayor of Montreal. Some people would say that the Liberal brand is damaged, and that may hurt Pablo in his race. It may hurt you in this race. I know there are a lot of people that would say, even though the recent stuff with Mark Carney, maybe the ship is turning in the right direction, but there are a lot of people that say the people connected to the 9 years of Justin Trudeau leadership, that may not be a good thing. What do you say to that?
Well, what I would say is that there's no party that's perfect, but I think the Liberal Party of Canada did a lot of good things for its citizens, for SMEs, for small and medium businesses. We managed a pandemic like many other governments in the world. So we did the best we could for the people. And for me, it's a party that I'm really proud of being a part of, really proud of representative, a very progressive party. We did dental care, we did child care, we did so many things. But again, no party is perfect.
So you just said a very progressive party, which leads me to why Ensemble Montreal. There is a very progressive party in Montreal. It's called Projet Montreal. They're also looking for a leader. So when I look at like political alignments, I think the pathway from Liberal Party of Canada goes more towards Projet Montreal than Ensemble.
Well, I'm a progressive, but I'm a pragmatic, and I listen to people. Everything that I've done in my life has been to be of service and being useful, but to listen to people. You cannot be a progressive if you don't do that. And unfortunately, I think we have an administration in Montreal that has done a lot of things, but has not listened to people. And there's a frustration right now, and we have to remember who we are as a city. Remember that we're an international city that needs to attract and needs to be in the international level as one. We're the biggest city in Quebec. 50% of our GDP is from the region of Montreal. We have to remember who we are. But again, we have to also listen to our citizens.
We're with Soraya Martinez Ferrada, running for the leadership of Ensemble Montreal. That means she wants to be your next mayor. So let's talk about what you just mentioned a little bit more, because it seems to me there's always been this battle in Montreal about are we a nice little quaint town, or are we a city on the level of London, Milan, New York? I know Denny Coderre used to say that all the time, right? And I think we've pulled back a little bit from that vision. What's your vision?
We have to do both.
How?
And then you have to remember that Montreal, again, is the biggest city of Quebec, that we are not immune to whatever happens on the south of the border, that if ever an impact of tariffs comes to our country, cities like Montreal will be affected because 50% of our GDP is here. Jobs are here, workers are here. So we have to be able to respond to that. So we have to have an economic strategy and plan, concrete actions that will drive the economic development. But we also have to remember where people live in the city, and they have to feel secure. They have to feel that the city is efficient. They have to feel that they've been listened to. If you do a bicycle path and you don't talk to your citizens, and you don't know that if you do it in that space, maybe they won't be able to get to their homes with their grocery bags. So you have to listen to the citizens, but at the same time, you have to thrive into the international levels to be able to attract investments in the city.
So one of the things, and I'm someone that I say on this program, I criticize because I love. When I criticize a political party, generally
because we
speaking,
love our city.
That's right. So I've criticized Ensemble Montreal on this program to the people that come in, right to Ensemble Montreal's face. I said, because sometimes they present me with a policy and I fail to figure out how it's different from the Projet Montreal policy. It's like the Projet Montreal policy, but 95% of it. And they're like, you see, we're different. I'm like, no, it's the same policy, right? So just like things like how will you differentiate yourself? Because like bike paths, right? What I hear from Ensemble Montreal is, well, we are full on in favor of bike paths. We love bike paths too. And which is fine, by the way, just have that policy. But I find there's like among the two parties, when it comes down to it, it's like same policy. How are you going to differentiate yourself?
So I'll give you an example. I think we need to construct more housing. We've been saying that. Everybody is saying it. The housing crisis is there, right? So, and we have a homelessness crisis too, and an opiate crisis too. We cannot point fingers to anybody else and saying, you have to do more. No. What can we do more? And how are we going to work collaborative with other governments and the private sector? There's no way we're going to do and increase the supply of housing if we're not working with the private sector. This administration has not sat down with the private sector in a way that they are partners to the crisis that we have in front of us. So when you do a policy that puts more tax on the housing, they're going to go and construct somewhere else.
Here's the thing, like I understand why Projet Montreal has been doing that. They're a progressive party. Progressive parties will get in the way of big bad business, and developers want to do their own thing. Well, you say you're a progressive, so I'm trying to think are you a progressive?
But I'm a progressive, but I'm a pragmatic. So if I'm pragmatic, and if you do a tax on housing, which is the policy of the 2020, whatever, that didn't work out. It did not work. Like the private sector went to other North Shore, South Shore to do the housing. If you look at the constructions in Montreal, we're decreasing. And the only city in Canada is decreasing. So that didn't work. So you have to do it differently. So that means you have to sit down with the private sector and say, this is what we need. If you're buying land, again, I'm a progressive. I want to do social housing affordable and making sure that we're increasing supply on the affordable housing. But if you buy a land and then you say, well, they will come and build it. No, it's not going to happen. You need to be a partner to the private sector because the only way we're gonna make it happen.
Let me just ask you one thing, obviously, because you're on CJAD. Our listeners are Anglos, right? And I'd be remiss if I didn't bring this up. We have a recent example, in fact, of an English book club that tried to do a meeting at a library. The library says, no, we can't. Bill 96, we can't. And it was very interesting because the Quebec government was saying, city's wrong. And even there was a day where the Quebec government was like, city's wrong. The city was standing by its guns and saying, no, you can't. And there certainly has been a turn in the city of Montreal on language to be much more tougher on language and much more French, and sometimes to the detriment of English. So I want to know where you stand on that. I should point out, you've worked in municipal politics before. You worked with Louise Harel, who's in charge of French for the city of Montreal before. So where do you land on that?
So the Charter of Montreal cites that Montreal, it's a francophone city. And it's an advantage in terms of international positioning of the city, right? So we have to remember that the Francophonie is fragile. We're 9 million people, over 300 million people in North America. But we also have a really big community of Anglophones in the city. And the city was built on these both communities. And we have to remember that. And we have to know that our communities, when they feel that they need to have services or hear their language, which is the English, well, they should be allowed to do that. I don't control what the Quebec does, right?
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, we just have to be human. Human in the sense that we have to respect the English community in a way that they feel understood, they feel listened to. Yeah, that's what I stand for.
So, Soraya, listen, I'm sure this will be the first of many discussions,
Yes.
and a good way to introduce yourself to our audience. Thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you so much.
Soraya Martinez Ferrada is running for the leadership of Ensemble at Montreal. She wants to be your mayor.